What's up, everybody? Welcome back into another EWE Reviews. Today we're going to be talking about Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 3. Hope I said that correctly. Before we get into that, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below what you thought about this episode. But yeah, let's get on with this episode. So, as usual, this is going to be, the start of the episode is spoiler-free, then I'll go to the spoiler section, letting you guys know when we go into spoilers. So, let's get on to some of the information about this episode. This episode is titled The Convert, and it was released on March 15, 2023. The cast includes Pedro Pascal, Katie Sackhoff, Emily Swallow, and this week we have Omid Abtahi and Kathy O'Brien. They were in previous episodes before, from back in Season 1, I believe, maybe Season 2, but I'm thinking Season 1. Alright, this episode has a runtime of 56 minutes. Actually, no, they were Season 2. Yeah, 56 minutes. And let's just get on to some of the basic plot of this episode. So this episode is a little bit different. So part of the episode, we're going to be with Mando and Bo-Katan on one of their planets. And then we don't see them until the end of the episode again. And the middle portion is mostly taken control of by Omid and Kathy. They have a new story. It's very similar to Andor, honestly. A lot of conspiracy stuff here. But I'm not going to put the spoilers here. We'll see that in the spoiler section. I'll give you more info about it. But we do actually spend some time on Coruscant, so that's pretty cool. So let me give you my thoughts on this episode. This one's a little bit different than what we're used to. So if you guys remember my previous two reviews, I talked about where I didn't really know where the season was going. I first thought the idea was we're trying to get to Mandalore. I still think we're trying to do something in Mandalore, but we're not there yet. But I didn't necessarily see the vision of this season yet. But I think we're starting to get some idea of what we're going with it, and I think this episode kind of gives some idea. One thing I thought was weird was the fact that it was Bo and Mando at the beginning, then Bo and Mando at the end. I felt like that was a little bit weird, but it was still fine. Watching it, I actually really enjoyed it because I was just like, oh, why is this episode a little bit different? I did think it was a little bit long, so I do complain about them being short, and they went a little bit long, but the long part was only weird because of the switching between the two locations and different characters. So I think that kind of like messed with me a little bit, but I actually liked the presentation. It was actually really good. The way that we saw Coruscant in this episode, I was like, oh, we haven't seen Coruscant in a good while. And they actually talked about some stuff where it makes me wonder, they actually talk about the New Republic, and we're actually see some glimpses in this episode of maybe why the New Republic failed. And I actually found that to be very useful, because we do know this takes place between episode 6 and 7, and we do know that the First Order eventually comes to be, so I'm wondering, are we starting to get some glimpses of how the First Order was created, what they were, things like that. Okay, so do you have any other spoiler-free thoughts? This episode does have action and things like that, so you have stuff in here that people are going to like. So let's move on now to my score. I'm giving this episode an 8 out of 10 for great. I really enjoyed it. No issues like last week with some of the lighting. And I actually saw the point of this episode. I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it. Would I recommend this episode? Yes. I feel like you should watch the other two episodes because, you know, these shows, they're not episodic, they're more serialized now, so everything has to do with what happened before. So make sure you watch episode 2 before you watch this. Though the meat and bones of it, you don't necessarily need to watch most of season 2. Like I said, the middle where it's mostly other characters, not Mando, you don't really necessarily need to watch this season, but you do need to have some knowledge of those characters a little bit. Not too much, just a little bit. Alright guys, so like I said, I would recommend this episode. If you're not joining us for the spoiler section, right now I'll give you guys a warning in a second, but please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you thought about this episode. I really want to know what everyone else thought about this, because this one was weird. I enjoyed it, but at the same time, I'm not sure if people are going to like the fact that we don't stick with Mando, Grogu, and Bo-Katan as much in this episode. So yeah, now let's move on to the spoiler section, guys. So here's your spoiler warning. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright guys, welcome into the spoiler section of this episode where we're going to talk about the plot of this episode and my thoughts to it. I'm not going to have as many pictures as I've had in other episodes. I kind of want to speed through this one a little bit just because I feel sometimes I spend too much time on stuff. So, start of the episode, we're with Bo and Mando again, and you can kind of tell she's wondering, did he see the mythosaur in the last episode? He did not, and she kind of keeps that information from him. Now, what I'm wondering is, because mythosaurs are so important to Mandalorians, is that maybe this is her way around to try and get the power back. She definitely seems like not having control of the Mandalorians is a big deal to her, so I'm wondering if maybe this is going to be a way to get that. But from here, they actually go back to Bo's planet that's nearby from Mandalore. I think it's one of the moons, or maybe it's a planet. I'm not exactly sure. So they head back over there, and when they actually are on way there, they get attacked by some TIE interceptors, and we end up getting like a space battle. They have this cool thing where Mando has to eject out of his ship in order to get back to his N1 starfighter, since they're going in Bo's ship. And it's really cool how they have this scene. I actually really enjoyed it, because like then he gets out of his ship, Grogu gets all scared, and he just stays with Bo, and he covers up the shielding for his pod. Mando ends up getting back to the Naboo starfighter, and they keep killing a lot of these enemy ships. When they do eventually defeat them all, and they're on their way back, they actually notice that Bo's castle has been attacked by TIE bombers. She gets pissed off and tries to destroy them, but there's too many TIEs. There's nothing she can do here. She's outgunned, outnumbered. There's nothing really she can do. So Mando and her make a retreat, and he gives her the coordinates of somewhere to go. We'll go back later in the episode to talk about this, but yeah, her home getting destroyed really sucked. So now let's move on to, like I said, Bo and Mando are just in the end point, so they're going to be at the beginning and the end. They're not really in the middle, the meat and bones of this episode. Now we move on to Coruscant. Our actually first time seeing Coruscant. No, we saw Coruscant in Kenobi. Actually, did we see Coruscant in Kenobi? I'm not sure if we did. Too many planets. Alright, so let's go to Coruscant, where Dr. Pershing, I think is his name. He ends up giving a speech about his research that he was doing when he worked for the Empire, saying that, hey, he did cloning research. And hearing him describe his research was really cool. I'm feeling like this is little foreshadowing to, like, since it's cloning, we know Snoke was a clone. Maybe this has something to do with Palpatine as well. Maybe this is like some of the essence there. So now, after he gives his speech, he ends up meeting some people, and then he ends up going to his housing. He's going to Amnesty Housing, since he's now like been pardoned for what he did. However, he's not fully integrated with the New Republic yet. They're kind of like, it's a trial run for him. So once he gets there, you see he has some conversations with some people there, and you can start seeing like some of them, even though they like the New Republic, not everyone, like some of them are missing things from when they were on the Empire, like some little things. It was a cool conversation to have. And he also runs into what was Elia Kane. She was one of Moff Gideon's henchmen, I guess you could call her. And when they're having these conversations, like, you can kind of tell she is there for him. She has ulterior motives. And the entire time I'm like, oh no, she's up to something. I'm already like, she's a bad guy. Don't trust her, don't trust her, don't trust her. But we'll get to that later. So he's starting to like see some stuff with the New Republic that he's not liking. So he's working in one of their data collection centers, and he's sending stuff to be destroyed, and it's a lot of Imperial equipment. And even he's telling his boss, like, hey, like, why are we destroying? They're like, oh, it's Imperial, but it's like, it's still working material. Like, we don't have to destroy this. We could actually use it. It could be useful to give to people. And he's an idealist. I can tell he's not a bad guy. Even though, if you just tell about the things he's saying in this episode, he just wants to do the right thing. However, he feels like there's shackles being with the New Republic. And this is something that I've always wondered. Why did the New Republic fail? And we're starting to see little glimpses of why it failed. The New Republic is trying to be like, they're in control of a lot of things. Similar to the Empire. I'm not going to deny that. They're a little bit more open than the Empire, but it seems like it could be easily corruptible. So from here, Elia ends up having a conversation with him of like, hey, what would you need to be able to continue your research? Because his research is very important to him. And he's not trying to do cloning just for like bad purposes. No, his idea of like what he wants to do with cloning is, hey, maybe someone's sick and we need to make them a new heart. Instead of like having to go find a donor heart, how about we clone them a heart and we get rid of the diseases that maybe they have? That way they can live longer, better lives. Now, again, like I'm saying, Palpatine stuff right there. But his intentions are good, and I feel like he doesn't want to accept why the Republic doesn't want to do this. he's trying to say, well, we can do good with this, but he doesn't want to see how the Republic's also thinking, yeah, but you can also do bad with it depending on how the technology is used. And he's an idealist thinking, no, it should be good, but it's like, no, dude, you need to stop thinking that way because it can easily be used against you. So she ends up convincing him to sneaking off to go to a nearby Star Destroyer. She just has like a junkyard to go grab some of the equipment that he needs in order to complete his research. Because he thinks he just needs minor things in order to be able to complete his research. So they end up going. And while they're out there, they do find the stuff they need. She keeps telling him, oh, no one's coming. Sure enough, people are coming in and they have to escape. And as they escape, they get caught by the police. And sure enough, she was the one that ratted him out. This was all a trap by her. She was tricking him. I think she just wanted to know what equipment would he need to be able to complete his research. I'm pretty sure that's all she was doing. And then he gets put into this place to... the machine, he know what it is. It's something to wipe his mind. But the New Republic's like, oh, no, we're using... It looks similar, but it's not to wipe your mind. It's to try and help stabilize you after right now what you're going through. And it's just like, guys, you're thinking... They're doing the opposite of him. He's thinking of, the cloning technology would only be used for good. They're thinking that other technology, like, oh no, this would not be used to wipe people's minds. And it's like, and what if someone evil used it? And sure enough, this is when we find out that Kane is still evil, and she turns that thing pretty high, and you start seeing it starting to mess with his mind. It's probably her trying to get to erase his mind of what just happened. It's really messed up, guys. And it's one of the things where I'm like, I'm getting the vibes of the First Order now. They're coming, and we're seeing the start of it. Because like in Andor, we won't see the First Order because that's in between episode 3 and episode 4. This is, I think, our only show in between, only show that we have right now that's in between 6 and 7. So we have to see the New Republic, why they failed. And we're already getting those visions of why the New Republic failed. And it's starting to become very obvious to me. It's like, you guys don't know what you're doing. You guys are trying to rush things. You guys are trying to like get rid of the Empire completely and think that everyone else in the Empire, like, you're trying to give people amnesty, but like not everyone deserves it. And not only that, you can't just destroy all this stuff right away. It's like they have good intentions, but it's going to be very useless when they can easily be infiltrated and the Empire can easily come back. And we know they do. I mean, the First Order shows up and destroys a lot of planets. All right, so now we return back with Bo and Mando, and they're just going to the planet where we were in episode 1 with the other Mandalorians. Now that he got proof before of the living waters. He grabbed a little sample of it. That way we can prove to them, hey, I did get the living waters. So now we go to Mando talking with the armorer, and Bo-Katan's right there. She hasn't taken off her helmet either, so that's one thing to keep in mind. So Mando is trying to get redeemed, so he needs the living waters, he needs to bathe in it. But let's not forget, when he fell, Bo also went down there, and on the way up, she never took her helmet off either. So if we go with that logic, they both got redeemed right there. And now Mando's like happy he's back there. Technically, he's the leader of the Mandalorians because he has the Darksaber. And we actually saw like a Beskar head of a mythosaur. And you can tell she looked at it. Bo is planning to do something to go fight that mythosaur. My guess is that she kept it quiet because there's probably some rule, and I'm not sure if I'm right or wrong here, of if you beat a mythosaur, like maybe you're the leader, I don't know. But she has ideas with that thing. And she's holding that away from Mando. As of right now, she's allowed to be in that clan. So I'm wondering what she's actually planning to do. Mando's just happy that he's back with the clan. But I wouldn't trust Bo-Katan at all. She seems like she's up to something. She wants her control back. She wants to be the leader. Even though she doesn't recognize when she was the leader, she failed at it. So, but yeah, guys, that was the episode in a nutshell. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode, because I'm actually curious. Do you think we're going to get a civil war between Mandalorians? Are we going to get the other Mandalorians that were with Bo-Katan before? Are they going to come into the picture? I'm curious what you guys think is going to happen, because this seems like a weird turn right here. And do you think we're going to see more of what's going on with the cloning? Do you think we're going to see more Moff Gideon? Because I think that they're opening now for Moff Gideon now to show up. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys soon, and thank you for watching. Bye.